All right. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining in tonight, ladies and gentlemen, whoever looks at this later on. I have been having a lot of new officiants. First of all, want to introduce Victoria M. Holland. Victoria wears many, many hats, but now she has prayerfully been thinking about getting into the officiant business. So we welcome her tonight. She's up in the Greensboro area. And so I'm so excited that she has reached out and decided that she also wants to pursue this passion. Also, Damon, who is also a cousin, he inboxed me 2 weeks ago and was like, okay, you got to tell me, I'm kind of floundering here. I need some help. So he also had asked me, he's in the Charlotte area. We also have added another officiant, my sister, Iris Talford. She is not on Facebook, but she's on Instagram. She got her officiant certification. And so she is actually going to be our backup at the Roddy Ranch. So she needed to get hers. But I'm going to be, like I said, recording a lot of this and questions and stuff based on those new people. And then we've got a couple of decorators that have joined the group. And so a lot of them you'll be seeing them inside of the group as well. Let me do this one thing. Let me tell this young lady, she was asking me about joining tonight, and let me remind her. That's one of the things that I definitely want to reiterate to everybody, which you guys know. If we are scheduled for a meeting, please put in, I give you enough time, please put it on your calendars, because, all of us have tremendously busy schedules. And so it's very important that, we use our time wisely. I'm a stickler for making sure that, I don't waste anybody's time, because I know how we all are busy. So maybe send her this text. So I definitely want to be cognizant of everybody's time, because I know you all are busy. So first of all, I want to again say welcome. There are a couple of new things, Angela, I wanted to make you aware of as we move forward. You've been in pretty much, I've been coaching with you since April, and you definitely have I've been referring some, weddings to you, whether, you've been doing them
Yep,
or not.
I've
But
been following up.
That's one of the things, Victoria, that I really, really, really want you guys to know, that if there's something that I can't do in an area that you are, definitely let me know. And I'm gonna ask that question tonight. If there's a wedding in your area and I can't do it, I'm gonna be referring it to you. This vision that God gave me, I don't charge for this. Nobody, I'm not charging none of the students. This is what God gave me to give back. So right now I've got a total of 13 people that I've been coaching since April. And God has given me this vision, and I have not missed a meal. There's other things going on in my life, but as I have given out, God has blessed me with this. Now, after August, which is after this month, well, actually after August, all of the classes moving forward will be charged. So you guys were not only my, I don't want to use this word, you were my test students.
Database, I mean, beta tests.
Yeah, you were my beta test to see, how, this was going to work. And so as I've been working with each and every one of you guys, a lot of you have been blessed. A lot of my decorators have gotten gigs, have gotten jobs, doing what they love. I had one young lady, she actually has quit her job as a teacher and is doing decorating full time. So this can be a lucrative business if you work it properly. So Angela was on the conference that I did, a couple of months back. And Victoria, I think I sent you, both of the links to that. So there are a lot of questions that's in that as well, that we answered. But if not, you definitely will have an opportunity to ask questions tonight. One of the things that I want you to think about, Victoria, is as far as how you want to brand yourself as an officiant. Do you want to include this under your business that you currently have, which I know you are a master coach, life coach. So I know, so those are the questions that I want to ask you. Check to see if you want to brand that under that, or you want to make it something totally separate. So Angela actually has hers is separate. And Angela, tell Victoria what you call your business, your officiant business.
So I created the ceremonies by designs with Angela Hope. And so my tagline is, I usually say, such and such, your wedding officiant, always your wedding officiant, but ceremonies by design. Now that is under my business, which is A Hope and Company LLC. So A Hope and Company, A Hope and Co. is anything that I do, other businesses partnering, A Hope and Co. meaning other things, other businesses, other entities. So I have my wedding officiant business as a subsidiary under A Hope and Company LLC.
So that's kind of like she's doing business as under that umbrella. So definitely decide how you want to do that. Have you been thinking about that, Victoria, how you want to kind of pursue that?
Well, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you, because, I still do the elegant elevations, florals, and designs. And so I was thinking about adding it as an addition to elegant elevations, which, like her, is under my Victoria Elevates, which covers all of my businesses. But I was thinking of adding it as a part of the elegant elevation, and I was going to make it elegant elevations, weddings, florals, and designs.
Then I would agree. That's what you go ahead and do that and include that in there, and make sure because you're going to need to redo your bio. So that's one thing. Redo your bio. And when you redo your bio, talk about your officiant services.
Okay. So is that also too long of a title? Would that sound too long?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's really going to be about how, you market it.
Okay.
If you've already got a logo, then underneath that, you can actually do like a little tagline that says floral arrangements, officiant, and so. Because that's kind of how I do. My business is Katrina Reese LLC, but under that umbrella is everything that I do: coaching,
right,
premarital, postmarital counseling, weddings, everything. So everything falls up under that.
Okay.
So, yeah. When you like I said, when you redo your bio, always include what that everything that you do. So that'll be floral arrangements and officiant services. Also decide if you want to do elopements. At first when I started, I was just doing all weddings. And then it just like gradually I started picking up elopements. So think about that if that's something that you want to do. That's quick, fast.
Okay.
And like I said, my husband that's why I was rushing, because he just did one in the front yard just now. So, so think about that. That not only is it good money, but that's an opportunity for you to get more exposure and for people, to start seeing, what you do and how you do it.
So should I address it elopements and weddings, or elopements/weddings?
I wouldn't even put the elopements on there. I wait till you do the bio. Just go ahead and still use your what you want to use as your company name. Hey, Damon. Still use what you want to use as your company name.
Okay.
And then under your bio, then you would describe what are you doing. You do a floral business. You're doing officiant services, which includes full weddings and elopements. So if that's how you want to say it that way. So Jamie, we're kind of talking about first of all, what type of wedding business do you want to service full weddings? Do you want to do elopements?
Nope.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Because that's what, I mean, Reese started out just doing specifically elopements. That's all he said he wanted to do. Now he's gotten a taste of doing a full wedding and he likes it because now he's able to minister, you know, and kind of really talk to the couples, you know, and really, you know, give them some, you know, background, give them some scripture, give them, you know, some good foundation. You know, they may not want counseling, but that is your opportunity to counsel to them. Even when you do your discovery calls or your first leads or however you want to call them, that gives you your opportunity to really get into knowing your couples. What do they want? What type of ceremonies do they want? So again, even when you do elopements, you know, our elopements usually are, they're supposed to be 10 minutes. They end up being 20 because he and we take the opportunity to really talk to them just in that little moment. You know what I'm saying? So you still have that opportunity to minister to them, even though they may not, you know, you may not get a chance to counsel them. Okay, so Damon, you said you just wanted to do just strict elopements?
No, I do full weddings.
You want to do full weddings as well? Okay, have you really thought about or you looked into having a logo or have you picked a name?
I already have the logo and the name. I'm gonna keep it under my current logo and name is Bella Voce, which is beautiful
Okay.
voice. So I do singing and then also do the weddings.
Okay, awesome,
Have the
awesome.
LLC and all that, yeah. I
Okay.
just put it all together.
So one of the things that I had Angela to do when she first came on was, and a lot of people don't want to do this, and I understand. So how lately, when I first started, I was on all the sites. I was on The Knot, I was on Wedding Wire, I was on Thumbtack, everything that was out there. And then the more referrals I got and the more reviews I got, then my people started finding me on Google. So now that's how I'm getting all my business. But if you have to, I would say set up a budget. If you want to go on some of these sites, I would research them first, see what type of money you want to spend. And then there's some out there that are free. There's some that you pay per lead. And then there's some that are, you know, very expensive. And I'll send Damon, I'll send you and Victoria those as well. Angela, how have you been getting a lot of your leads lately, other than the ones that I've been sending you?
I really haven't. I haven't been working it as much as with working a 9 to 5 and it being summer and it being busy. The leads that you have been sending me, I've been jumping on them right away. And as you see how I package my email, thank you. I would love to see how I can serve you on your special day. And then I send my business, my digital business card link that has everything that I do. You've probably seen that. And there's a couple that I'm marrying this Friday that I think was a lead from you from months back.
Okay, okay.
So I'm not
that's another
working it
good,
as much as I could.
okay, okay. And that's another good thing. You guys can work this as much as you want to, because this is your business. And we all have other things going on. We got ministry, we got life, we got jobs. But it'll work if you work it. You know, that's all I can say. But once you get up there on that SEO, on those Google searches, I'm telling you, the calls will start coming and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't take this wedding. And so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of do an officiant group, because if I'm not available, I know I can send it to Angela or my husband or Damon or Victoria. That's another thing you need to think about too. How far do you want to travel? So think about that. I am a traveling officiant. I will travel all over the United States. If you pay, especially if I'm over a certain in another state, find out how much you want to charge. And also, is that going to include my hotel? You know, so I sent out sample contracts, but make sure that if you are accepting something that's out of state, that's further in, you know, you can't come back within a 2 or 3 hour drive, put that in your contract. When you do your discovery call, make sure you talk to them about that, because I'm telling you, they're officiants that travel and they make thousands and thousands of dollars doing this. I thought my little money that I was charging was something. No, there's some that they travel all over. There's one lady that I would like for you guys to follow if you're on Instagram. I can't think of her name right now, but I'll send it to you. She travels all over and she does celebrity weddings. And she's really, really good. And she does she has like a little podcast that she does, that she kind of helps officiants that are just getting started out. But I'm telling you, if you want to do this as a business, it'll work for you. And you can get paid doing it. So that's another thing in your contracts. Definitely. And Angela, I want you to look at yours as well. Look at long distance travel, and also look at destination weddings. I also found out that the countries that are US, like with St. Martin, and all those that are down in
The Caribbean.
So, yeah, those down there, those are under, like the Virgin Islands, those are under United States covering. So with that being said, you don't have to get any type of special licensing. They already recognize, they will recognize you as an officiant, and you can still sign off on a license there, which I found out, which is so good. So if you have a couple that want you to marry them on a destination wedding to the Virgin Islands, you are actually licensed to do that. So think about those if you want to branch out and do that kind of stuff. Again, that would include travel and also, you know, your fee as well.
Airfare, hotel.
Airfare, hotel.
Per diem money.
And trust me, the more people they get, the cheaper the packages will be. So them adding you on is not going to be that much of an additional cost for them. You know what I'm saying? Plus, they'll probably get their rooms for free the more people they add on. So think about those things as well. I'm really looking at possibly doing some destination weddings in those areas that fall under the umbrella of the United States. Yes, Angela.
Do you have a specific list, or you're just saying for us to just research those? I mean, I know like Puerto Rico is part of the state. I know, like you said,
I have a list. I'll send that list out to you.
Okay.
One came with the
because what I ended up doing, my business coach was telling me about it, and then I Googled it just to make sure that it was true. And then I reached out to another officiant that's on the officiant page, and I'll talk to you guys about that. And she said that as well. She's done some weddings, you know, down there in St. Martin and, you know, I think it's St. Croix and other places like that. And she was recognized as an officiant because it was under the United States umbrella. So I'll send you that list.
Thank you.
I think Hawaii is one of them too as well.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the states. Puerto Rico and Hawaii are the United States.
Yep. Puerto Rico as well. Yes. Okay, so I'll send you guys that extended list. The other thing that I wanted to really, really talk to you guys about, and I'm not going to keep you long, was also about referrals. So, do you have a problem with me sending you referrals? Okay, so if I send you referrals, first of all, I'm not going to charge you because Angela knows how I am. But one of the things I want to make sure is when I send them to you, like she has like a discovery page of questions that she's going to ask them. I want you guys to work on that. Victoria and Damon, work on a checklist or a discovery page or questions, a questionnaire that you want to ask them. That way they can give you all the information, bam, 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 bam. you can have all that. So then when you get ready to set up your call with them, you'll already have that information. Do they want a non-traditional wedding? Do they want a traditional wedding? Do they want you, what do they want you to wear? That's also in my contract. You know, do you want me to wear my minister's garb, or do you just want me to wear black, or do you want me to wear colors that are within the color pattern of your wedding? So these are all questions that you need to put on your sheet. Is this an unplugged ceremony? Do you want me to announce that, you know, do pictures need to be taken, or can they take pictures? Do I need to announce that the phones need to be silenced? So all of that stuff, you need to make sure that's on that sheet. So when you guys set up your call, will your DJ have you mic'd? A lot of times we forget about that. We wait to the day of and we go to the rehearsal or the day of the wedding, and the DJ's ready to mic us and we're not appropriately dressed because either it needs to be clipped on or whatever. So make sure you ask those questions during your discovery call. You know, will my DJ be micing me? What type of, am I going to have a handheld mic, or do you want a podium? That's another question. Or do you want to stand when you do your ceremony? You know, will it be in your book or will it be on your device? Decide how you want to, when you're standing up there, what do you want to have? Do you want to have a book? Do you want to have your device? Do you want to have a small book? Start thinking about, you know, what type of stuff you want to have up there that makes you comfortable being up there and performing, you know, your ceremony with them. Anybody else
This
have
is all great.
additional questions?
Go ahead,
Yes,
Victoria.
Victoria.
Go ahead, Victoria.
So when you're talking about, and I apologize if I hesitate because my brain fog is kicking today, but when you're talking about the discovery call sheet, do you do that? Because when I do my calls for my coaching, I do it in my calendar. Like I'll have the questions there. So do you think, do I need to do it there and have a separate Google Doc or form? How, you know, what's the best way
I would probably do a separate, because with my coaching, I have a separate form because I'm asking different questions than I am if I'm, you know, trying to find out what you want for your wedding. So I would say you may need to, you can use it, but maybe just tweak it to make it specific to what questions you want to ask the bride and groom.
Because like I have a separate link for my coaching, and then I have a separate link from like my talk show. And so I could do a separate link that's strictly for the wedding.
I would, yes, because you don't want to integrate. Those. You want to keep them you want to keep them as clear and as clean as possible.
Okay. So I got one more question. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
So when you were talking about the destination weddings, and I don't know if I haven't looked at this much, but I know during COVID they were doing virtual weddings. Is that something that we get into now, or is that no? Yes. I'm
gonna tell you really what I found out from a judge about virtual weddings. Okay. When people, because I did a virtual wedding, but actually it was my bride and groom that were in front of me, and I had two witnesses. Okay. The virtual part was family and friends were either streaming it on Zoom. Okay. But by law, your bride and groom have to be in front of you.
Physically in front of you.
Physically in front of you, yeah. And even during COVID, when I was doing weddings, people were wearing masks. Bride and grooms were wearing masks, guests were wearing masks, but technically, a wedding by law, they have to be in front of you. They have to be face to face in person. You know, the guests can be wherever they want to be, but your bride and groom really technically is supposed to be in front of you.
So would you look at that as an elopement charge versus a wedding charge?
Well, with an elopement, you still have to sign off on the paperwork.
Right.
And you have to be present. You have to be present.
And you still have to be present. Right. Yes.
So, but would you list it as a service under your elopement, or would you list it as a virtual wedding, and then list that they have? I'm not going to do it. I just had a question.
Well, it can't be virtual. It can't be virtual.
It can be virtual, like I said, but as long as your bride and groom is actually literally in front of you, and everything else, everybody else can be virtually watching in. Right. That's fine. But your bride and groom have to be in front of you.
Right, but
by
so
law.
if they're in front of me, would I still charge that as an elopement fee
If
versus, or
I would say, if you're going to be doing a full wedding, and what I mean by full wedding is if it's longer than you having them up there for 10 minutes, then that's
Right.
considered a full wedding. You're
Gotcha.
doing it from beginning to end. Now, a full wedding doesn't necessarily mean, because I've done full weddings and it's just been the bride and groom up
Right.
there. They didn't want anybody standing with them, but they had guests. They had
Right.
over 30 people. So if they're
Right.
streaming over 30 people and you're up there doing a full ceremony, that is not an elopement. An elopement is pretty much they're coming to you. They say, we want to get married. You say, do you take her? Does she take you? Exchanging rings, and you're done within 10, 15 minutes. That's an elopement.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Elopement is definitely nothing more than 10, 15 minutes at the max.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
they can have people standing around, but they can't when you start walking into a ceremony and you're doing the full garb, that is a wedding.
A wedding. That's right.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
a full wedding. Yes.
Gotcha.
They got you
Okay.
walking in, whether it's 10 people standing up there with them or 5. If guests are sitting down or they're being streamed in, if you're coming in, that's a full wedding.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now there's such thing as micro weddings, and it's the same thing as an elopement, but it's like 30 people. But you still should be able to charge them because you're going to be there. You're walking down the aisle with the bride and the groom and this, that, and the other, and they're still doing the full thing. That's still an elopement. It's just a micro elopement. It's no more than 30 people. And that's what we do at the Roddy Ranch. We don't have any more than 30 people, but it's still considered a full wedding. Okay. Damon, would you ask me a question?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
do you ever do the wedding and also sing?
No, I have not done that.
And the third thing is,
Because
what's that?
I find that, to me, I'm already nervous. And I know you sing, you're an opera singer. Y'all got to hear Damon sing. Oh my God. All I got to say is my cousin can sing. He can sing.
Where's Damian, where are you located?
In Charlotte.
Here in Charlotte.
That's good to know. That's good. A recommendation. He can be a part of my roster that's good.
Yeah. And that's
Beautiful.
another thing I was going to say too. I do have a referral list. So anytime a bride is looking for an officiant,
Makeup artist,
a coordinator, if she's looking for a singer, if she's looking for a decorator that does flowers or all that, I keep a list of people that I refer out to. So definitely always do that. I want to go back to the Google business page. Angela, she set up her Google business page, and that's where I want you guys to start driving traffic. Damon, I want to set up a one-on-one and show you how to set that up if you don't already have it set up, and you too as well, Victoria. The only thing about it does require you to show a physical address. Do you guys have a problem showing a physical address?
Are y'all all Notary Republics also? Notary Republics? I am a Notary Republic. I offer that as a service.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so this is what I really would like for you guys to do, because I know, Angela, you do a lot. Victoria, I already know your background. Damon, I would like for you guys, if you could, and I'm going to ask the other group as well, because Trina Young, she works third shift. So that was the only reason why she couldn't come on. So I had a meeting with her earlier in the week. She has a cleaning business. She actually helps couples that are moving into new homes or moving out of apartments. She actually will go in and do a pre-cleaning or a post-cleaning of your apartment or house. So that's part, and she's a notary. So that's part of her business as well. So you guys, there's a wealth of gifts and talents that is connected with this group. So I would like definitely, and I'm going to do this. I'm glad you said that. I would like for it to get a list of everybody's name and everything that you, all services that you offer. And
Mhm.
then that way, if you guys know somebody that is looking for someone that does that, I would rather send you out first, give it to you, and then, then you have to sell yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I know you guys can, I wouldn't send anybody to you, or I would not send a client to you unless I knew that I trusted you and I knew that you could definitely give them the kingdom services that, we all are about. It's all about, excellence, you know, I have a pet peeve when it comes to certain things with brides, and I tell them that up front, so setting boundaries. I definitely set boundaries with my couples. So that's another thing that we have to remember, that, you can't be calling me all times of the night. I have office hours. This is my business, and I have office hours. So I have to remind, my people that I even have office hours, and I don't mind you texting me and calling me, but when it's time, be mindful of that. And I would do that for each and every one of you as well. So yeah, I want you guys to email me all of your services that you offer.
I do have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if you run into it yet, but how about same-sex marriages?
I actually have done 3.
Okay.
I've done 3. At first, when I started, I didn't, because
Yeah.
I felt that was, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. And
Right.
then I actually had a talk with my pastor, and he told me, he said, Katrina, you have to look at this, it's a business. He said, now, it's going to be your conviction, but you make that decision. So at first I was a little hesitant, but I did do my first one. It actually was up in Virginia, and it was interesting. So yeah, I always tell everybody, that's up to you. That is your that's your that's up to your discretion.
Yeah.
I would never tell anybody, what, you have to do this. And then I did talk to a judge up in New York, because he's a good friend of mine. And he said that a lot of counties are being harassed, and a lot of officiants and a lot of people, you already know about what happened with the Supreme Court, where the young lady decided that she did not want to, I think she was baking a cake or doing a website or whatever for a same-sex couple, and the Supreme Court voted on her side, that she didn't have to do that because that was her business and that was her conviction, and she won. So I would say that's up to your discretion. But like I said, I've done 3. I don't push doing it. I don't make it. I don't advertise that I do it. I'm not on any LBG. I can't even say it. LBGQT. Website.
LG,
Yeah.
yeah. That
See,
group.
that's why I would get in trouble. See, that's why I'm not. So, but yeah, I've done 3, and they were actually personal friends. They weren't somebody that somebody just found me on the website. I actually knew them personally, and they were good people. They asked me to do it because they trusted me. So it's up to you. It's your discretion.
Well, I have a question in the same realm.
Mhm.
So, I probably will have to pray about it and ask myself and all that too. But so in the beginning, how would you address it? Like, if I get a same-sex couple that says, "Hey, I heard about your services. You made me a wreath last year, and we want to get married." How do you address it so it's politically correct that at this? Because I'm going to say at this time I'm not going to do that,
Yeah.
just because I got to get my mind right for that. But how would you politically say that so that you don't lose a potential client for something else?
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
you
And like
can't
I said,
guarantee that.
I've been
You
doing
can't
this since
guarantee that.
2000. Yeah, I've been doing this since 2009. I've been marrying people. And when I first started, I never got any hits. And it was like maybe in my 3rd year in it. And then one of my friends, that's she and I have worked together. We've done ministry together. She said, "Hey, my cousin is she's a lesbian and she's getting married, and didn't want to ask you, but do you do it?" And I was like, "Well, I know her,
Right.
she's good people." But before that, I did, whenever I had gotten approached, I would always say, I appreciate you reaching out to me, but at this time, that's something that I just don't do, because that's just not part of the services that I offer. That's
Okay.
politically correct. And if that's not part of the services, and say, at the time, who I'm talking about, Ivy Burton, up in Virginia. She has a group of officiants under her wing that do same sex. So I would refer them to her. I would send them to her and say, "Hey, I got a same sex couple," and I sent a lot, men, women, and I've never done any men. I've only done females, but I sent them to her, and that's pretty much how I said it. I didn't say, "Oh, God's gonna condemn you," don't I'm a minister and this, that, and the other, and God don't like that. People are adults and they already know sin is sin. They already know that there's a conviction that comes with that. And like I said, I had to pray about it as well. But it's, that's how I would approach it. I always would say, at this time, that's just, that's not something that I offer those services. But thank you, for thinking of me. But I do have somebody that I can refer you to.
Right. Because I mean, I ran with, we ran with coaching, but that's not the reason why they're coming for coaching. They're coming for something else.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've coached them and then they get ready to get married. And, oh, well, let me just think about you,
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to kind of, at this time, I don't think that's something I want to do, because my daughter ran into it with baking cakes.
Mm-hmm.
She had people that reached out to her that wanted them to do a weed cake. And she's like, "I don't even know what that is, but I'm not making it." So, you do have to be political correct so you don't lose other clients that may see you. So I just want to make sure that was how to say it, because, I can be a little
crispy. And it's all, and it's who you, and networking too. Victoria, there's and Damon, I know you both are on Facebook. There's an officiant group. I'm not sure if I sent you guys the link, but I know Angela, I think you're on it, but there is a national officiants group that's out there on Facebook. And that's what I do sometimes. If either, I get approached for a same-sex wedding and I don't do it, I'll put it out there on the Facebook in the Facebook group and say, "Hey, I got a same-sex couple is looking to get married in, Burlington, North Carolina. Anybody in that area that can do, those services, and here's their number." But I always ask them too, "Hey, is it if I'm referring you out, is it okay for them to reach out to you?" I don't give them their phone number. I say, "Hey, is it okay for them to reach out to you via email?" Because I do, respect people's privacy, whatever lifestyle they have,
Yeah. Well, I mean, this day and age, it is what it is now. Where we are, and it's not our job to judge, it's not our job to judge, but to love our brothers and sisters where they are.
Yeah. I actually got approached from a same-sex couple that I didn't marry, but they wanted me to counsel them. And I told them, I just didn't feel right counseling two females. And the reason why is because I guess, and it wasn't because, they were living in sin or it had nothing to do with the Bible, but I just couldn't relate to that mindset, I guess. Does that make sense? I can understand what a woman would go through in a relationship and a man, because I've been married to a man before, married to a man. So I can understand those tendencies. But for two females, we run on the same antennas. Does that make sense? So I couldn't find a balance in that. So I told them, I said, as much as I would love to, I couldn't do that. I couldn't counsel them, So you just have to make your own decisions. And
sure,
and a lot of times it's not about the money.
Right.
It's really not about the money.
It should be completely about the money, because some of it's our job is to help make that day special.
Yeah.
and to bring them to where they want to be, and to be is to be married. I mean, that's it. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Because in the eyes of the law, technically you can do it, but then in the eyes of God, you know, there's a balance within that as well. So like I tell, you know, I get it all the time. People are like, well, do you do it? And I said, I've done it before. I've only done 3. And you know, it wasn't hard, it wasn't strange. It was for the first one. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I literally cried on the first one.
Did you?
And I'm gonna tell you why. I know y'all probably think this is weird, but the reason why I cried was because there was some kind of, I don't even know how to say it. There was a spiritual something there in the midst, and it was pure. It was so pure. And I was like, okay, is this the enemy or what? You know what I'm saying?
But
So
love is pure.
you kind of experience, you'll experience certain things because some weddings I go in, I'm like, bam, bam, bam. I'm in there, out of there. Then there's some that I make a really good connection with. You know, I call them my children. You know, you guys are my children, you know, and I want to see you have a successful life. I want to see you have a successful marriage. And really and truly, that's where my passion comes from. You know, that's why I think God has given me this mandate for weddings, because I just have a passion for seeing couples, you know, be the best that they can be, you know, in this institution of what's called marriage.
Right. And truthfully, before we say the I do's, people have already committed themselves to one another. We're just helping to make it more legal, but truthfully, they've already committed themselves to it. So if there's love there, if there's respect there, if there's caring there, and you feel that, nothing you can do about it. It's just what it is.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So you'll have your bridezillas. I've had my bridezillas. I've had brides that hands are completely off. They give it to the groom, you know. So you'll get all kind of dynamics when it comes to this business. Yes, Angela.
Yes, I have 2 questions. My first question, 2 questions. My first question is, when we sign off on the license, are there supposed to be witnesses this wedding that I'm doing this Friday?
It should be the best man, the woman, and the bridesmaid, right? And the maid of honor, correct? It's usually 2 witnesses.
Is it North Carolina?
Yeah.
It's in North
North
Carolina.
Carolina requires you to have 2 witnesses. Yes.
2. I just wanted to confirm that.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. And then the second question, thank you, Damien, for that, because if they're like, oh, I don't know who, it's like it can be your
That's
that's
the
a
2
good
people you
thing.
chose. They're the ones who said it's okay. So
Yes,
be
that's good.
witnesses.
Thank you for that. If they're like,
Yeah,
I
I've
don't know.
seen the mom of the bride, mom of the groom. I've seen the best man, the maid of honor. You know, we had an elopement here, and you know, Reese and I told the couple, you got to bring 2 witnesses. They were just picking up their license from downtown. They were actually trying to get married at the courthouse. The courthouse is already booked up to September. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go online and they're going to look for you guys. So that's what they do. So when she called, I was like, you got to bring 2 witnesses. And she was like, I don't live in, well, we're here in the city, but we don't really live here. We live outside. And you'll see that a lot too. You'll see couples that don't live here in North Carolina, but they're getting married here. So as long as they're getting married here, they should have a license from here. Does that make sense? So if they're getting married, wherever you're marrying them, that's where their license hopefully will be from, or in North Carolina. I've had couples that have come here in Charlotte and they've gotten their license from Concord, from Cabarrus County. They've gotten them from Union County because Monroe is booked up. Concord's booked up. So the only place they could find was Charlotte. So as long as it's a North Carolina license, doesn't matter what county it is. But when you sign off on that paperwork at the top, it may say Cabarrus, but it'll say, where did they get married? And whatever county you marry them in, that's what you put on the license.
Yep.
I see. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then my second question, thank you, you answered. So I was gonna ask you, when I sign off on their license with the two witnesses, are they responsible for taking them to the
Courthouse or mailing them off.
courthouse?
Mhm.
Not me. That's what they do.
That's up to you. I do both. I tell them, I say, hey, do you want me to mail it? I keep it stamps. I say, do you want me to mail it off, or do you want to take it yourself? And you just ask them. A lot of times they'll say, oh, we'll take it ourselves. Now, if it's somewhere in Greensboro or outside of Charlotte, I let them take it, because technically they can get it faster there to their courthouse. But if it's here in Charlotte, if it's local, then I'll just ask them, do you want to mail it, or are you going to take it yourself? So I ask the question.
Okay,
Yeah.
got that. Thank you.
Now,
This
if
is
it's
some
for
good stuff.
Virginia, I don't ask.
Okay.
If it's South Carolina, I don't ask. But
Gotcha.
if it's in the city, I usually will ask. But yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. You mentioned about several people getting their officiant license. What exactly are you referring to when you say your husband now has his officiant license and your cousin now has? Is that something? So I do weddings under my ministerial ordained license. I believe God Ministries. I'm an ordained minister and licensed. If I wanted to have an additional license, that in the event that I was no longer with that, not to say that I'm not, but in that is, I do weddings now based on me being a minister with this particular organization. Say if I'm no longer with this organization and they remove my license.
That's a good question,
Interesting.
because when
Not
I got
saying that
ordained in
anything like that, or if I moved, or if I did, or whatever, what license are you referring to that your husband and your cousin have? Is it attached to ministry in a church that was issued the license,
they
or?
got their licensing through the American Ministries Association. It's an online ordination and ministry website that you could get, and it only costs $45. And they send you, hold on just a second, let me show you what Reese got. Now my license is through my old church.
Right. My license is
I would
attached
think,
to
though, if
my
you left a
church and ministry.
denomination, that you would probably lose that ability to perform weddings, though. I wonder.
You don't know, not necessarily. It's only if they pull it. If
Right.
that church decides that, okay, you're no longer in good
Right.
standing with us,
Right.
then yes, you would have to go whatever new church, they would have to give you a whole new
Ordain you.
yeah.
Ordained.
But
That's not the scenario at all. I'm
yeah.
just asking.
Yeah, but most licenses that you get from a church are supposed to last a lifetime. I've
Right.
never
Right.
heard of a church pulling a minister's
Pulling them,
license unless
defrocking them, yeah.
they were they were not in good standing
Yeah.
or anything
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
My license
Yeah.
is from 2006. And
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
did check with the lawyer and a judge, and my ordination license that I have will stand anywhere in court. It will stand on any state,
Mhm.
but Reese got his the same place Damon got his. It's called I don't know if you guys can see it.
Mhm.
The American
Marriage ministry.
Yeah. And this licensing, and there's another one that's called Universal, but Universal is under they're right now I think in court, because they're saying that their licenses are not really real ordination
Mhm.
licenses, and they can be contested if in court. So a lot of people are going now with the American American marriage.
It says a marriage
American marriage.
ministry.
Yeah, they're going with that one. A lot
American marriage
yeah.
ministry.
And they
Okay.
they actually send you a letter of good standing. Did you get one, Damon?
Yes.
They send you a letter of good standing and all of that. They even have different scripts in there for you.
Right. And they
So
also have the list of the states that you're eligible to be just to do practicing.
they exactly
Mhm.
do. They tell you how many witnesses, if you have to have witnesses. They have all of that. They have a really good book that's a really good template for first time ministers. So
Mhm.
I like them. Iris just got a license with them, and she's in South Carolina. So
Mhm.
yeah. So
Mhm.
I would definitely not worry about that, Angela, unless
Okay.
when you leave that church, or if you decide to leave, they're going to pull your minister's license. You get what I'm saying? Or the new
Mhm.
church you
Mhm.
go to, they don't recognize your minister's license.
Right. I'm just thinking like just different things over that was just something I'm in
Yep.
perfectly good. Matter of fact, my license was just renewed with, I believe, God Ministries. And I was just like, when you said something about license, I wanted to know, was that through a church or is that an organization? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And usually with the online, they never expire. And like I said, if you are licensed or ordained in a church, again, as far as marrying somebody, your license should be forever. Now, if you
Uh-huh.
decide to leave
Okay.
that church and you want to go be a minister in another church, that's something totally different. But if you're
Mhm.
marrying people, your license shouldn't have an expiration date on it. It should always be continual, but that's
Okay.
based on the denomination that you're under. So you definitely
Right.
might want
Right.
to ask that particular question to your pastor. And
Okay.
Victoria, you
Yeah.
might want to, I know we were talking about you got ordained as an elder.
Yeah, I got reordained under the new
Yeah.
ministry, and they actually do every 3 years relicensing
Do
Okay.
they?
Mhm.
their
Wow.
ministry. So when I was with Apostle Wesley, and I almost called him to get the letter done because technically he says I will never let you go. So technically,
Right.
if you look at it that way, I still have a license with him. So, but the ministry I'm officially under, that they relicense every 3 years.
Yeah. And I
I'm
think a
actually
lot of that is
doing the other
because if you're ministering in their church,
one.
that whatever that licenses is falls under that ministry. And again, if you go to another church, depending on what the denomination is, they don't recognize that.
Right.
So that means
Right.
you got to but when you come to marrying someone, once you are licensed and ordained, that will never go away.
Right. Right.
It's,
I'm in
that
good
will never.
standings, and like Victoria said, my license just got renewed. Just
Mhm.
ask, and even asking about my husband as well. That when you talked about, that's what I wanted to know, what you just shared with me. And the third and final,
That's the fourth
elopement.
and final.
No, 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 no.
I'm
The
messing. I'm messing with you, Angela.
third, the third one, elopements. Um, how do you market that differently from weddings? Did you just start saying it, or is
Say
that
it,
because I want to be
imagine.
able to add that? I've talked to a couple of couples about it. I just want to know
I
how you
didn't.
start.
Really and truly, it just started happening.
Okay.
Once people started finding me on Google, they would ask, hey, we're down at the courthouse and we want to get married. We're not, we just want somebody to do a little small, simple civil ceremony. And that's how it started. And so, no, I never advertised it, but now I do, like after the fact, when, I marry somebody and I say, hey, I'm going to, I do elopement. So if somebody asks you, yeah, you can do it. Do you find you a little 10-minute script, just as long as it's got the, saying the vows and the ring part, you're done. That's all you got.
Yeah.
You ain't even got to announce, hey, now, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. You don't even have to have all of that because you don't have an audience.
Right. Right. To present them to, because it's just them. Yeah.
It's just them.
Thank you so much. I'm going to put myself on mute and allow someone else to have the floor. Thank you. That was really good information. Thank you.
No, you're good. You're good. So, Damon,
Mhm.
did you have any questions or anything? You pretty much are all set. So the only thing you need now is have you worked on your contracts?
I have some that are similar. I got to work on my questionnaire. I've been thinking about questions because I think that's going to be our gateway into what's going on between the mind of the two individuals we're marrying. In order to understand what they want, I need to understand them. and I need to understand, most importantly, what makes them them, what makes them one. So like that day, I can add that as part of the service because the words are dearly beloved. Everybody knows that. That's easy. But the other part of it is connectivity to the people in the congregation understand why those two are there that day. They may know them as so-and-so, but why are those two really there? The intimate part of the relationship that nobody knows about, that I can share with everybody. Because everybody's responsible for taking care of their wedding, their vows, because making sure they stay in the straight and narrow, supporting them, but not busybody.
Come on.
So,
And that's
yeah.
one of the things I always say when I get near the end, after I've done the ceremony, I just really kind of put my book down and I say, hey, look, I said, now this is your day, but the work is going to start after today.
It is.
This is just this is just the icing on the cake, but the real work is going to start. I said, and I want you to remember, you know, the Bible says that, you know, you've come together, you know, you've left mom, you've left dad, you've left all these people. Be careful who you include in your marriage. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you share with. I know everybody's going to try to give you advice. So those are your moments when you can really talk to them about not only what you know to be true, but just share wisdom and nuggets with them. Yeah. So you're definitely right, Damon. On those discovery calls and, you know, even after, once you're working with them on their ceremony, you get to know them. Angela, I know she does that. You get to know them. What you want me to say about you? What do you want? How do you want people to remember this wedding as? What, you know, what was said, you know, just little nuggets, how you met, or, you know, just little stuff. So it's, you'll love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, and my challenge is always to the congregation is that my challenge is this: stay out of it. When they come to you with problems, stay out of it. If you're the mom and daddy, stay out of it because they have to learn to work together. That's the problem. They say they want to be together. Now it's time to be together. It's you against the world, the two of you. Don't call mama, uncle, daddy, Susie, Bobby, Joe, my friend. Stay out of it.
Yep.
Everybody, repeat after me. Stay out of it.
Yep.
We'll be okay.
Because the thing is, when you get mad at each other and you go and you tell mom, then mom gonna be mad at him, and then you decide you want to go back. Now you got mom feeling or dad feeling some kind of way because you know, now you done said and, you know, told everything, and now you decide to go back. Now you know, you got everybody mad at Billy Bob because, you know, you done open your mouth when y'all just,
they already felt a certain way before they got married anyway. So you just gave them, you just opened up the whole, I can get in now. No, keep them out of it. Keep them out of it.
And one other thing that I had a couple that had me to add in their little ceremony, and I've been using this lately. When we do the ring part, and I tell them right after that, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. So what she had me to add in was like, you know, and so I said, now, you know, you guys, these are just outward adornments, you know, of, you know, your inward love for one another, but it's also to let, you know, the outside world know that, you know, step off. She's mine and he's mine. So
that's right.
You know, you looking at this, but, you know, step off. And I was like, that's so cute. But she that's what she wanted. She, you know, so people will talk to you about what they want in their ceremonies, you know, to kind of make it personal. You know what I'm saying? So she was like,
so good.
You know, we got these rings on, but they're just letting y'all know, step off. I was like, okay.
I love it.
Yeah, so good. So Victoria, did you have any additional questions?
I had sort of a question. It's probably not even nothing to worry about at all. But do you ever have people, because I'm single, as you know, I'm waiting on Abraham to come on. So I don't want Boaz, I want Abraham. So, but do you ever have a couple say, are you married? Because, you know, if they don't know, do they ever ask you that? And if they were to ask me that, how would I handle that? Like, you know, I've been married, I've divorced, but if I'm coaching them or counseling them, I'm counseling them in life, not, you know, and you do the relationship part of it. But if they say, well, you're not married, how are you gonna marry me? So do you ever
anyone to ask me that? But I mean, just in conversation, as they're getting to know me, you know, I tell them about who I am. You know, I'm married. You know, I got, you know, a husband. I got grands. You know, I got kids. So you, as you talk about that, getting to know one another,
Right.
then yeah, let them know, yeah, I'm single. I've been married before, know that, the struggle that comes with marriage,
Right. Right.
even though mine may not have lasted, but, being a single woman, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want in my husband to come to be, you know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
that's how you can kind of talk and relate to them. And as you being a coach, a life coach, you'll know as you get to know them,
Right.
how to have those conversations.
Okay. Thank you. And then my second question, I'm like Miss Angela, my second question, because this is so good. I'm glad you had this meeting. So with having the other services that we offer, like I do the floor arrangements and things of that nature, do when they're coming to talk to you and they say, hey, I need an officiant, but do you automatically say, oh, and I offer all these other services as well? Or do you let them go to your website and they look at it from that standpoint? What's the best way to approach it is that you're not being overbearing with your other services?
Well, one thing, if they come to me as an officiant, then, of course, I tell them that, this is what I do. I've had couples that wanted me to do day of coordination and officiating. And I just tell them I can't do it because
That's a
those are
lot.
two different.
Right.
One, you have to be in the front, and the one you have
Yeah.
to be in the back, and you
Right.
Right.
can't do both. So
Right.
there will be certain services that you can offer, like doing the bouquets and stuff, where you just can bring those and you can do those, and that's great. But that's
Right.
not going to take you away from being an officiant, because that's something
Right.
that's going to be done behind the
Yeah.
scenes. You're going to bring it and you'll be done. And I will work a separate contract for that. That's
Okay.
another thing. If you've got separate services, like Damon, if you want to offer a package, I have packages. I do officiating and marriage counseling. I have a package. I do those together.
I see what you're
But I
saying.
don't do officiating and coordinating together. And no, I haven't sung and done like Damon. I haven't sung and done officiating yet. But if you
That would
want
be
to do that as a package, set it up as a package.
okay.
So you have to work
Work it.
and see what works for you.
Okay.
I do have couples that say, I'm coming to you as an officiant. Do you know somebody that does marriage counseling or coaching? I'm like, I do. Oh, you do? Well, great then. Well, okay, I'll send you over, my contract and let you read it over. Blah, 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 blah.
Got
So, as you talk to them and get to know them, I always ask them, how did you guys meet? That's has been one of my biggest goal getters. Most of the time when I find out about them and how they met, 100% time, I always get the sale. I'm just going to be honest, because I'm finding out and I'm just not sharing who I am. Now I want to get to know you. How'd you meet? Tell me about it. A lot of couples say they meet online. A lot of couples say they met at church. A lot of couples say they've been dating since high school. So that's how you get to know your leads. And then that's how you can either close on a sale or not,
That's kind of how you know if you're a fit for them and they're a fit for you. Good. I like that.
I don't call them counseling services. I call them two conversations of discovery.
I like that.
Not as counseling, because I can't counsel you till I know who you are.
Yeah.
And
Well, I have a counseling certification, but I call it coaching. I like coaching better. Coaching is a lot softer.
Right.
And it's not like I'm trying to get into your mind and trying to, do this and the other. So my contract actually says coaching. So I say counseling, but if they ask for those services, I tell them that, I coach you, that's pretty much what it is. Everybody knows what a coach is. I'm here to rah you on, but I'm also here, to be real with you and be honest enough to say, one thing I tell them, if I sense any abuse, that to me is a red flag. I think you need to go back and y'all need to really, really, think about, we all have levels of discernment. You know what I'm saying? And as you talk to them, I've had a couple that canceled their wedding because she was like, I'm not ready, and he's not ready. We're not ready. And I was like, I'm glad I didn't have to tell you that, That's what you do. You coach them, you help them discover, am I really ready? I've had two couples that have canceled the wedding. The venue, dresses, everything canceled. She was like, I'm not ready. He's not ready. And that should be part of your job as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Save some time for divorces. Let them know up front what's going on. Because I think I think they like the glamour and the pomp and circumstance that comes from weddings. But weddings are 30 minutes. Marriage is a lifetime. I think people just don't think about that. They think, well, people that come to church watching a pretty dress. And it is about the bride and her pretty dress. The groom couldn't care less what you put him in. But the bride was wear a pretty dress, come out of the aisle, have reception, look real pretty in her dress. People will comment on that. But that's not the marriage.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things that I do as well, and it's just I guess that's just my heart. Like you said, you already know that the bride is her day. We hear that all the time. But I put an extra emphasis in making sure that the groom is happy and he's comfortable.
Right.
And that's and that's just me. I want to make sure that the whole package, because I hear them all the time, well, whatever she wants. No, don't say that.
That's a bad thing to start.
It's not just whatever she wants. You're not just in this just for her to have this special day.
That's right.
And I don't care if she gets mad at me or not, but you know what? This is his day as well.
Right.
I've had grooms where now they come in on their own song.
Right.
It ain't just about the bride coming in and she having her own music. I got grooms now. I've had grooms, they come in on their own music now. I'm like, okay, all right, I see you. Yeah, but that's what it's about. It's just not her day. Right. It's you guys together.
It's our day, right?
It's our day. Yeah.
And I think that is right. It's a misnomer that people do that. You're right.
Yeah, but society has always pumped up the bride. But you know what? There are a lot of companies out there that are catering more to the grooms, and they're making big money.
I think that's important. I always tell people that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Angela.
I was going to say, and to your comment, I always say that a wedding is an event. It is an event.
That's right.
But a marriage is a lifetime commitment and contract if you want it to be. They're two separate. We can go have a wedding right now and you sing and we come down the aisle and that's an event.
Right. Like going to a concert.
Anything to do with the marriage.
Great tickets at the end of the show. And Jackson go to her house, you go to your car and go home with your wife. That's how it works out. You don't go home with Janet, you go home with your wife. So forget about it.
Yeah. and one other thing that I've learned in the last, couple of years is couples think about the officiant as last. And it was hard for me to wrap my mind around that because I'm like, without us, it's not legal.
That's right.
And so you can go out and you can get this nice venue. You can get all these pretty flowers. You can do all this, get this pretty dress, buy this tuck and, put all this money into all this cake and food. But without us, it's not legal. It really isn't. So stop thinking of your officiants as the last people that you need to reach out to because we're busy just like the caterer is and the decorator and the baker. We get busy just like they do. Think about us. It wouldn't be legal without us.
Yeah, that's why people probably come to wedding officiants thinking we're not in a church, so therefore we don't have to follow the same rules, but it's the same laws.
It's the same laws.
Not just the laws of the state, but the laws of God.
It is the same actual thing.
It's the same.
It doesn't matter where you have it at. You can, I've had outdoor weddings. I've had weddings in breweries. I've been to, the only way I ain't gonna go is a strip club.
Well, now, don't shippers got to get married too. Now, come on now, give them a break.
My Abraham might be that.
The strippers got to get married to the strippers.
My Abraham might be the bouncer. Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. Y'all ain't getting me up in the strip club now.
He said that Abraham might be the bouncer. Oh, Lord. Oh,
I'm
boy.
about to think. I'm gonna have to think about the strip club now. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
But guys, thank you so much for taking,
Sure.
this time
Thank
out of
you.
your night and coming on. If you decide you have any additional questions, you got my email, you got my text phone number or whatever.
Yeah.
And also inside the chat on the Facebook group, I'll put out there, what we talked about. I'll put the different destinations that are covered under the US. And then I'll ask everybody to email me a list of their services so we all can network together. Look for and then I'm also going to be referring. So guys, I need to know how far you're going to go. If you want to do like a little referral cheat sheet, let me know how far you are willing to travel if I send somebody, to you, So and I'm gonna be pushing some folk out to you. So a lot of them I'm just having to deny because right now I'm still working a corporate job and I'm kind of still and to be honest with you, this is really a full-time job. It's just that right now, my husband fussed at me about I'm not charging enough. But I told him, I say, when the time is right, it'll all fall in place. But my goal is to, by the end of this year, hopefully to have left my corporate job. So we'll see what happens. So,
Well, you know what? What a great way to retire.
well, if we get the Roddy Ranch kicking like we should, I'm gonna be doing that full time. That will be my retirement job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we shall see. We shall see. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much for this. Let me take the recording off.
Okay.